Hello everybody and welcome back. It is Michael from Hallowed Thrills back with another video, and today we have a really special video for you today. As we were blessed by the HHN gods today, and it looks like we have our first speculation map of the season, of speculation season. So huge shout out to HNNightmares, HNNightmares over on Instagram, Twitter, and their blog online. Go and check them out, but they were kind enough to provide us with this map a little bit early so we could make this video and release it as soon as they drop the map. So huge shout out to them, and huge shout out to all the other creators that are a part of this little community that we had gathered together to kind of prep and give this stuff out to you guys right when it gets announced. So huge shout out to all of them. Find their videos and podcasts on Twitter and Apple Podcasts and Spotify, wherever you can find it. Go and watch it and listen to it. It's going to be some great coverage this week. But before we dive into this speculation map, because it looks really good, please make sure that you are subscribed and have the bell notifications turned on to follow me on both Instagram and Twitter. And also, I did a podcast with the Boo Bros about this speculation map that we go really in depth and really dive in and sink our teeth into this speculation map. So if you want that deep dive on this speculation map, go and follow us and watch us over there on the Boo Bros Inc. channel. But now, without further delay, let's dive into speculation map version 1.0 for HHN 32. Starting us off with location A. This is all the way up in the front of the park where Hellblock Horror was last year, and this is our first and only confirmed house so far this year, and that is Chucky. Yes, the Sci-Fi FX TV series is coming to HHN. It was announced at the end of the event last year, and I believe it is season 1 and season 2. I already talked about this. It could possibly also include season 3, but we have yet to see that. But I did talk about this in my first video, my first speculation video at the beginning of the year, so I'm not really going to dive into it too far, but I will just say and reiterate, I am excited to see Chucky at the event. I have been going since 27. I know it's not that long, but still, I have never actually seen a Chucky house. They had that scare zone, but it was But I'm excited to see this Chucky house finally. I know he's been on all the different types of merch, but I'm finally getting to see an actual house that he's at in HHN. Now let's move on to location B. Location B is right there at the Music Plaza where Spirits of the Coven was last year, and this is one of the IPs I'm super excited for, man. And it's kind of a little pat on the back that I might be right on this one. I speculated for the Universal Monsters house that we were going to get a Phantom house this year, and our first speculation map of the year includes Phantom versus Dracula, or Phantom/Dracula. I don't know how they're going to combine together. They kind of have weird things. They're just capey boys. They're capey boys, and they're gonna duke it out. I don't know, but I'm interested to see how this goes. I personally would have liked to see Phantom versus maybe the Hunchback, because they kind of, I don't know, their stories kind of go together a little bit, maybe, but Phantom versus Dracula could combine everything together and kind of connect Dracula to all the other monsters, so we could see this big battle in the future maybe. But I mean, Phantom's going to be at the event. I hope. At least I hope. Please. I need Phantom at the event, and I need that Phantom merch, but I'm excited to see how this pans out for the rest of the speculation season, whether this actually happens. But without diving into stuff too much, let's move on to our next one, which is location C, where Halloween was last year. And this is right at the entrance to Jimmy Fallon. And this is another IP, the one that's kind of been thrown around a lot recently due to the popularity of the show, and that is The Last of Us. Yes, personally, I have not watched the show yet, but I will give an opinion based on what I've heard from other people. And this show, from what I've heard from other people, is fantastic and really detailed and amazing. I definitely need to take the time and watch it, but from, like I said, what I'm hearing, it could be a very good house if it ends up coming to HHN this year, and seeing the infected in a house would be really cool. But I would be interested to see how they kind of do it as far as details go. Are they really going to dive deep and make sure that like locations look like exactly how they were in the show, characters look how they are in the show, or are we just going to kind of get a run-of-the-mill zombie house? I know I said the Z word, they're not zombies, they're infected, but tomato tomato. But The Last of Us is looking like it is a shoo-in this year, but I'm not going to say anything's confirmed just yet. Like I said, this is only speculation, and it's only speculation map version 1. A lot can change. Speaking about things that are changing, that could possibly be changing, because who knows, let's move on to our first original idea on this map, which is going to be back at location D in the back left, where Fiesta de Chupacabras was last year. And this is looking like it's going to be Krampus, a Krampus original. Personally, I would have liked to see the return of the Krampus movie that we had at HHN 26, because I didn't go to 26 and I want to see the movie. I love the movie. But if it takes just getting an original to get Krampus back at the event, I'll make the sacrifice. I'll make the sacrifice because I want to see it happen. And personally, as an original, I think it could be much darker of a story, much more gory of a story, and I feel like the Krampus character would look even more terrifying than it did in that movie. So you gotta kind of weigh your options here and be like, yeah, we're not gonna get the actual story of the movie, but that gives them the freedom to do whatever they want as far as character design goes and set design. And of course, I love a winter house. I love having the chilly snowfall in an actual soundstage house. So if that's where this is, I'm all on board. Let's do it. Krampus original. Now let's move right next door where Dead Man's Pier Winter's Wake was last year. And all we have for this is an original tag, and it has an anchor. I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine on this one. Now, I did talk with the Boo Bros a little bit about it, but the only thing that we were able to really come up with is possibly SS Fritanic, or maybe another Dead Man's House. I have no idea. Or maybe we could just get a brand new original for once. Nothing that's kind of built off anything else. I'm interested to see how that one plays out, but like I said, check out that Boo Bros podcast if you want to get a really in-depth speculation on what that could be, because we did dive deep into the possibility of SS Fritanic being that original. Now let's move on to location F. And this location is a returning new location from last year, which has pretty much been all but confirmed this week with the application of the permits being filed for this location, and that is over at Fast and Furious. So it looks like the Fast and Furious location is coming back this year, which I'm excited to see. I thought it was a really good location and kind of fit really well with the flow of the crowds, and added a new stay-in scream, so I loved that. And it looks like the same IP is going to be there. Last year was Blumhouse with Black Phone and Freaky, and this year it's looking like it's going to be Horrors of Blumhouse number 4 with Megan and the new Insidious movie. Yeah, I mean, I loved Megan. I saw Megan. It was pretty good, and I'd be interested to see how they did it in the house. And Insidious is just terrifying. Like, it's really freaking scary, man. Like, I'm excited to see how they mix these two houses together. Or are we going to be something similar to how Blumhouse was last year, where it was pretty much 2 mini houses in one house, and they split it up with that courtyard? If we end up having it, like I said, in Fast and Furious again, I feel like that's what we're going to see again. But regardless, those are 2 properties that would be great to see in HHN houses, and I hope that it does come back, because I have high hopes for Blumhouse following last year. Let's move on to Location G. Location G's entrance is going to be the same entrance as Bugs Eaten Alive last year, but I will say that this is going to be a sprung tent house. Men in Black tent is still gone, but this is another original, and this so far is called Lair of the Banshees. Now, could this be Banshees as in witches, Banshees as in like some sort of bird people? I have no idea. All I can really guess is with Lair of the Banshees is maybe it's kind of going to be along the lines of Conjure the Dark from the Scare Zone from last year, being in a house, which I wasn't a big fan of the actual Scare Zone, but I thought the concept would have been better received as a house, because you have that kind of swampy feel, the runic idea, like just the nice stone architecture. I thought it would be really cool as a house rather than a Scare Zone. So I'd like to see if that ends up being what this is, and seeing how they do this in a house and kind of convey the same story. But regardless, I think it would be a cool return scare zone to see as a house. Speaking about things returning though, let's move on to location H, which is the other sprung tent. And this is a returning original, as it is a returning original B film from Slaughter Cinema at HHN 28, and that is Devil Dogs. I loved Devil Dogs in Slaughter Cinema, so I am super excited to see if this ends up panning out as coming to the event, because Devil Dogs was such an amazing original take on having werewolves in a house. Because it wasn't your run-of-the-mill werewolves. These were biker werewolves. They're grizzled biker werewolves that were gonna beat you up and then bite your face off. I mean, it was a really cool, funny, interesting B-movie concept that I hope ends up being turned into its own original house. I mean, we've seen it before. The Swamp Yeti from Slaughter Cinema ended up turning into Yeti Terror of the Yukon, and that house was super well received. So if they do Devil Dogs in its own original house, I hope this continues our trend of seeing some of those original houses from original B-movies from Slaughter Cinema be turned into houses. But now let's move on to I. I and J, if you have noticed from this map, are in new locations as far as the entrances go. They are still both the new and old parade building. I don't know which one's which as far as I and J, but the entrances are no longer back by Kid Zone, and that is because Kid Zone is currently under construction, so we do not know if there's going to be an opening enough to have the entrances back there like previous years. But the entrances are looking like they're going to be moved up between the Simpsons ride and where the Quickie Mart is. So there's a little pathway, a little backstage entrance right there where the entrance of these houses are looking like they're going to be. Now, let's talk about location I. Location I, as of right now, all I can guess is that this is it's an IP, but all we have is a guitar and a lightning bolt. I don't know. My guess right now, my more popular guess right now is it's another artist house. It's music based. I don't know, maybe some sort of metal house, since it's kind of rock with the lightning bolt and the guitar. Who knows? My guess is maybe AC/DC, Metallica if we're going that way, or maybe we're just saying that this is just an artist in general, and this is just kind of our symbol for it being a musical artist. And maybe we'll see The Weeknd return with Dawn FM this year after Hours was so well received last year. Personally, I would like to see Dawn FM be turned into a house because I like that album more than After Hours, but who knows? I mean, or maybe we'll see something like some new up-and-coming pop rock person. I'm not sure. Your guess is as good as mine, but I also have an idea of another IP that this could possibly be, which has been at HHN in the past. I know this is a shot in the dark, but you think guitars, you think lightning bolts, you think some nice rock, and you think of an IP who deals with all that stuff, but also deals with it in a comedic way. And they have a band. What's their band's name? Oh yeah, the Wild Stallions, maybe? Bill and Ted coming to HHN as a house? No, that's just a really wild guess, and I doubt this is actually that, but it would be funny to see Bill and Ted come back as a house instead of a show. I mean, they can't do it as a show because people get butthurt, but maybe it'll come back as a house. Who knows? But like I said, more often than not, this is probably some sort of musical artist idea. Now let's move on to our last house location, location J, and all we have right now is that this is an original, and it has some characters. I'm not sure what they are, whether it be Japanese, Chinese, it's some sort of Asian characters, like letters, I'm not sure. But from what I have been told is that the letters spell out good luck, which I have no idea. I have no idea how that really goes with anything. But my only guess is that this has to do with maybe some sort of folklore original, Eastern Asian folklore original, which, I mean, if that is, high five to me, because I did speculate that there could be some sort of Eastern Asian folklore original this year. Maybe we'll see it. Who knows? Who knows what this is? And before you go in the comments and say, oh, it's Squid Game. No, it isn't. It says original. It's not an IP. Get out. It's not Squid Game. It's an original. But who knows what this could be? All I know is that it's an original. And it has something to do with Eastern Asian culture. But that is it as far as houses go. Now, like I said, there are no scare zones currently listed on this map, but we do have shows that are listed. Currently, show number 1, it's looking like it's the Lagoon show, but we don't know what it is yet. And show number 2 is looking like the return of Nightmare Fuel as of right now, but it still says that it's going to be in the Fear Factor live stage, which I could have swore that they were going to start tearing that down this year. So who knows? Maybe they're going to keep it up again, and that's where Nightmare Fuel is going to be. I don't know, but this year is looking like an interesting year so far as speculation goes, because I can't really tell what the overarching theme is of this year so far. It's got a lot of moving around to do to figure out whether or not there's going to be an overarching theme for the event this year, and I'm sure most of the stuff on this map will probably be changed within a week. But as of right now, this is what we're looking at. My number 1 probably original house that I'm looking at on here is more than likely the Phantom Dracula Universal Monsters house. And my number 1 original on this is either going to be Krampus or Devil Dogs. I really hope something like those two pan out as far as originals, because I'd love to see both of those at the event. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure you drop a like and also comment down below, out of this entire map and the houses that are on here, which one are you most excited for, and which one do you think is going to get the axe first and is going to get cut from this map first? I'm Michael from Hallowed Thrills, giving you the all clear, and all clear means you're out of here. See you guys next time.